Hey, this is Pitch, welcome back to the channel. It's been way too long since my last Rust video, and that's down to me getting carried away with the latest Path of Exile leak. But this week, I finally got my head down and came up with this incredible base for you guys. I hope you really enjoy it. The first thing I'll say is that the size and upkeep of this base is really deceiving, so don't turn off if you're a duo or a solo. I don't do clan bases on this channel. All of my bases will be for maximum 3 players. If you do enjoy the content, then do me a fat one, poke the like button, and you can always subscribe for future Rust content. Now, let's get into the Pangolin. So, things have switched up a little bit. I got a lot of requests on my other bases asking for either roof access or ways to take down heli, and my bases are always generally really compact. Now, I've been playing about with this kind of design on different bases for quite a while now, so what this does is this integrates functional multi-TCs, I'll go over that in a minute. It's roof stacked with a HQM bunker, an integrated China wall, 360-degree shooting floor, and masses of offline protection. If you're new to multi-TC, then this image should explain it a little bit better. Essentially, the Pangolin is 4 bases wrapped into one. It's not just using external TCs as additional TCs, it's using them to actually protect base number 4 in a functional way. And this has multiple advantages. So the cost of base number 4 gets reduced dramatically. If you were to build a base this size only from TC number 4, your upkeep would be huge, absolutely huge. Here you get the benefit of having multi-TC, so even if they take base number 4, they still would need to destroy the external TCs to gain access to building privilege, but also you gain extra layers of protection around your main base, which is base number 4, which can also provide you with this integrated China wall and shooting floor with lots of open space to build naughty turrets. And here is the upkeep that you're looking at for this entire base. Remember, the external compound walls don't cost anything, you just need to farm some wood. They don't require upkeep, they just need to be within range of a TC. The TC doesn't even need to contain wood. Each of the external TCs, you can see they're next to number 3, so a very small amount. And then the main base in the center, number 4, you can see the TC upkeep required next to that. So extremely reasonable for a base of this size, and I think you'll have a lot of fun building it. The first thing we'll look at is a general sort of blow into the base. You know, how is that going to work out? Well, first of all, they've got to get through all the turrets, as you can see, around the outside, but then we have the roof stacking. So there we've removed 2 layers of roof and then another 2 layers of ceiling to get down. So all in all, 4 layers on a 2-story building. Very expensive. If you do manage to penetrate the China walls, the compound, and get past all of the turrets, then you're looking at sheet, armored, and armored to get into the core. And through doors, it's even more expensive, so don't worry about that. If raiders go through doors, you've won. We'll take a quick look at the external TCs here. They are completely sealed, made of HQM, so 8C4 to get in from any angle, and you gain access to them by placing a roof at either side of this square foundation. When you finish adding upkeep, just delete the roof and the TC will seal itself again. Now let's take a look inside. So we move inside here through the airlock, up in through the ladder hatches and into the shooting floor. The shooting floor is all part of the external TCs, none of it is connected to the main base. And here we have the open core roof area. We have turrets covering the top floor as well as covering the inside compound inside the China wall. Down into the base now, we have 2 entrances in and out of the base and a symmetrical bedroom at either side. into the main second floor core. You could do whatever you want with this. This is all just an example, but behind each of the glass windows that you see there is a large battery, and you'll need 2 to power all of the turrets. In the HQM bunker, again, this is just an example of how I would kit it out, but feel free to play about with it as you feel fit. Now we're going to move on to the build itself. If you're not familiar with the technique on how to roof stack, then I suggest you check out this video. At the beginning I did a little bit of a tutorial on how to roof stack. The first thing we want to do is find a nice flat piece of land, ideally. It's a freehand placement as explained in the tutorial. And here is an example of why we need to do the check before we do any sort of building. And that is why we do the check. You do not want to upgrade everything to stone and then find out later that this is a problem. So make sure you can roof stack consistently before attempting this base. Go onto a build server and practice. And that's the shape we're looking for. So that slightly higher foundation, that should wrap around completely like that. We're going to delete all of the excess. And this is what you're left with. Now we know the roof stacking is going to work, we can start upgrading. This is going to be our starter base. Delete everything except 1. Upgrade that to stone. Build this in like a normal hexagonal base, but make sure the door frame is wood. When you're placing the TC, place it a little bit left of the center. Now I suggest filling this out at this point with all double door frames inside, and if you watch my base building tips video, you'll know that I always like to make this sheet metal. If you don't know why, then check out that video. This is what your starter should be looking like. There's one more thing we need to do, and that's place this half wall here, and I would make that wood. That now connects the higher foundation to the main base. Without that, the higher foundation would decay, so it's extremely important that you place that half wall. Now we're just creating the exact same shape as when we started. We know it will fit, so it's not a problem. And again, we delete the excess. Now we're left with a raised layer of honeycomb around the outside. We fill that in completely with walls, and now the half wall that we placed earlier actually acts as a way to get out of our new tiny compound. Now, to get back in, we just want to create something makeshift. It won't be like this for long. A little triangle foundation with a half wall, and that'll get you in. And then the half wall that we have inside will get us back out again. This won't be for long. And that's what your base should be looking like at this point. Nice change of biome there. Now, I'm going to delete these for the purpose of the video, but you would keep the inside one in at least. We want to build 8 squares out from that point. Delete 7 of them, leave the last one. And then build back with triangles. Delete all the blocks as shown here, and then place 2 squares at the end. The second square is where our TCs are going to live. Upgrade all of this to sheet metal. For what it costs, it makes the TC 4C4. Place the TC slightly closer to the front, because you can't actually get inside of these TC sheds. Okay, that's that. Delete everything else, we'll come back to this later. Make sure you can access it, and there we go. Okay, now, because we have to open up the TC to gain access to it, I think now's a really good time to put in the compound. I'm only using a wood compound in this example. If you have access to the stone external walls and the stone external gate, then feel free to build that instead. Or, as I would do in this one, build the wood one because it costs literally nothing. Just go out and find some trees. And then add a stone layer later. But a nice neat way that I found to do it, I'm going to show here on the video. If you place these foundations just in twig, as shown, then what you can do is you can place the compound around this little like skeleton frame that we're going to build. You'll see in a minute. So that's the frame that I'm talking about. And now what you can do is you can put your compound right up to that, and it'll just make it nice and neat. It's for the OCD people out there. Now just go ahead and delete the twig. Okay, now we're safe to continue building without getting hassled. We're also free to open up our TCs as and when. So we'll start working on the main base a little bit now. Just one thing that I want to point out whilst placing these triangle roofs. Again, if you're not familiar with roof stacking, then make sure all of these triangle ceilings are all connected to the lower part of your base. So you should always be able to see that wall overlapping around the outside. Now we'll have the second layer. If you don't have HQM at this point, then it's absolutely fine to leave it sheet metal. We'll be able to gain access to this later, apart from the triangle above the TC. I suggest making that armored now. If you don't have a ladder hatch, just use a ladder at this point, as long as you can gain access up and down. Now we can start building the honeycomb. Let's do a bit of upgrades to the core while we're here. That wall there behind the TC, we will not have access to it later, so it's really important that we armor that up now and the foundation. The rest of them we'll be able to get to. All these we can upgrade later, so just upgrade them to metal for now. This is one of the really cool things about roof stacking. So these walls here that are sort of protecting the core, we need to make these armored. And usually you wouldn't have access to these walls once you've completed the honeycomb like this. But because of roof stacking, you'll see in a second when we go upstairs, we can upgrade these later. This is what you should be left with. Because even at this point we can upgrade them. But even better, we can upgrade them once we've added the second layer of floors to the outer ring. If you can't place that hatch like I couldn't do here, then remove the hatch and then place it back. Okay, it should look exactly like this. Do not add anything to the inner hexagon. And you can see we can still access the walls that need upgrading to armored. Now we can add our door path. And these are the bedrooms. Filling the roof completely. Then we can slap on the two ladder hatches and we're completely sealed. It's a bit of a chicken and egg scenario because now our entrance and exits are on the second floor, but we currently don't have the China walls in place to be able to gain access to the second floor, so just a couple of ladders on the outside of your base for now, and we'll sort all that out. Okay, now from the external TC square, I'm going to start building the China walls. Delete these two triangles, and then upgrade everything to sheet, as shown. You need these two door frames putting up here because these two triangles actually aren't connected, but that connects them. And that's a multi-TC frame in place. These are the turret pods that are going to be put to use later. can start adding our door path. There's a nice little trick here with the gaps. The gaps obviously are too big here, and if you place the honeycomb walls the way that you usually would, like that, the gap is going to stay the same. So if you turn them around, so you're on the hard side facing in into the compound, that closes the gap significantly, so you end up with that nice tight gap. Okay, let's make sure we can get up to the second floor now. Again, if you can't place any wall next to a ladder hatch, especially a triangle ladder hatch, just remove the hatch temporarily, place the wall, then put it back. I don't know what's causing that. And that's the last layer. And we can fill out the ceilings here. And this is the floor of our shooting floor. So now we have a way in and out of the base without using ladders. Unless of course you don't have access to ladder hatch yet, I suggest making that a priority, but if you don't, then wherever I've placed a hatch here, just use a ladder. Placing the door frames here to close that gap. And now we can close in the shooting floor. I like to place this little triangle floor here. It just makes it so easy to traverse inside and out. And then here are the turret pods. Now back inside, we'll do the upgrades that we spoke about before. We're going to make all of the honeycomb walls that we can still see, make them all armoured. Do a check and make sure you have all of them. When you do, we can start upgrading the core. So make sure you have the second layer of ceiling all the way around at this point. Again, here it wouldn't let me place the frame. So to remove the ladder hatch, then place the frame. Okay, that's all of that upgraded. You'll notice that I haven't added the second layer of floor yet, because we need to put the garage doors in first. If you don't put the garage doors in first, then you will not be able to add them. Okay, lastly, let's do the honeycomb. Check that you've got everything in place, all the garage doors, all of those, both of those windows, the wall, all the walls. Make sure everything is as shown here before you add this floor. Okay, eventually you will upgrade this to armored. The two windows you see there are for your two large batteries. Also upgrading the ceiling of the core here to armored, including the ceiling above the ladder hatch and the two walls. With extra HQM, I would also upgrade these two walls. Because then it doesn't make the path any cheaper than to come through all the garage doors. Just gonna fill this out with the doors now. Those two garage doors left and right, those are the bedrooms, which are optional. You don't have to have those. I just think they're quite nice to have. Especially because they're next to the entrances and exits onto the roof. So if you do have anything you need to defend against, and they come through one entrance, you've always got an option to get through the other entrance. Now let's do a lot of upgrading to metal. Basically, you want the entire external of your main base, your core base, as metal. Now in the china walls we can place the roof of the first floor. And then fill it in with all the honeycomb. Don't need anything fancy here. If you do get a lot of metal, then I would suggest a ground floor of this honeycomb. You can upgrade that to sheet metal. Okay, I want to suggest from this sort of internal compound here to get to the roof, if you fall down, is just put a ladder on each side. It gives no benefit to anybody else except you. Okay, there's the roof to the top, and we do have access to the top as well. So to try and hide the fact that we have the ladder hatches there, you can actually place these doorways. It's optional, but I probably would do it. So if you placed one there, and then you place one at the same place on the other side, that way if anybody gets inside your compound and ladders up, they can't see where your ladder hatch is, and that doesn't give away the information as to where your door path leads. So I kind of like that as an option. Any empty double door frames in here, except for the turret pods, they're all going to contain garage doors if you want them to. So the ones here in the shooting floor, as you can see, it's up to you whether you want to, open and close those every day. For the sake of the video, I didn't add them. Now the turrets are down, we want to look at doing some electric. Let's ladder up here real quick. we make it dead simple to add all the turbines. A little bit of netting, then we've always got access to the turbine if we need to rewire it. But we can gain access to it without the ladder. Now that we have the netting up, we can use this turret and hop up that way. That's also the way that we gain access to the top roof as well. There's that, and then from the netting, we can just drop here. Alright, let's have the turrets down the bottom. This will cover the inner compound. And an option for these that I probably wouldn't do this is you can have them either chain link. Actually, I wouldn't do chain link. I would do these ones, these gates if you want. But then you don't spend a lot of time in this inner compound. But if you did, you'd have to sort of open and close 12 doors. I can't be bothered with that. But they added it in here as an optional. There's a couple of stone triangles there that I actually haven't deleted. I do delete them later, but essentially that's what your base should look like. Now, I want to talk about building privilege. So if you go outside, and here's me backing up, and I'm going to show you where the building privilege ends. Now remember, we have 3 external TCs, but they go out in sort of a triangular shape. You see where the privilege is gone? We can fix that. We're very, very cheap. Just 2 squares in a triangle. Done. That's it. So now watch how much further that has pushed our building privilege. So a million% worth doing that. Just checking the upkeep. We haven't upgraded these to HQM yet, but it will be 23 HQM external. And here's the full door path that we've created. You can actually get rid of this and create the bunker much earlier in the build. So 2 half walls, get rid of the bottom one, upgrade to HQM, and then upgrade this entire bunker to HQM. Optional if you do the foundations or not. Here I don't. I probably wouldn't unless I had a load of spare HQM. Do not forget your bag. That is like the most important thing, except for the TC. If you seal your bunker and you have not put a bag down here, you've lost your base. Just showing the upkeep there. At the beginning of this video is where I showed how I would decorate the bunker, so feel free to go back and take a look at that. In order to seal it, we want to place a box here, and you can leave that box there all the time. You don't have to pick it up and put it down every time. We want a half wall made of twig with the soft side facing into the bunker, and then just look straight down and jump and place a triangle. Upgrade to HQM, and that's it. The bunker's sealed. When you log on the next day, just kill yourself, spawn downstairs, break the bunker, and away you go. these are the two triangles that I was talking about. Just rogue triangles I got left over. Nothing that I showed in the build. Okay, and finally we want to upgrade all of our external TCs to HQM. And that is the Pangolin. I hope that was worth the wait, and I hope you appreciate just how comprehensive this tutorial is. Thank you for all the love on my previous base build videos. Maybe this could be the one to break the record, who knows? But again, if you did enjoy it, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more builds in the future. I'll leave the links to my other 3 bases down in the description, and a link to my building tips video, which I promise will help you stay unraided for longer. As always, comment down below with what you think about this base. If you like it, share it with your friends. I've been Pidge, you've been great. I'll see you in the next one.